have 8, 8, 9, and 0. The smallest number obviously is going to be the 0 because that is smaller than 9 or 8 or 8, okay? So what I'm going to write here is I'm going to write this number right here, 8.008. And then next, we're going to look again. So again, we have 8, 8, and 9. We know that 8 is smaller than 9. So 9 is going to go at the very end, right? So let's see what goes next. Is it going to be 8, 0, or 8, 1? 8, 0 is smaller. So I'm going to write down that number, 8.08, and cross it off. And then 8.081. And we said the last number is going to be 8.09. Okay? So that's what you're going to have. Now, I'm going to move on to the next problem. We have problem B. Let me just make this smaller. Okay, we have all of these digits right here. And again, I'm going to plug it into my place value chart so that it is easier for you guys to see. So right here I have 14.204. And then I have 14.200. And then I have 14.240. And the very last one I have, I'll just put it down here, 14.210. And now I'm going to look at my numbers. All of this is the same. 1 is the same, 4 is the same, 2 is the same. Now this is where it starts to be different. Zeros are going to be the least, right? So I'm going to put, it's either this one or this one. I know that 4 is greater than 0. So this number right here is going to be your smallest number. So I'm going to write that down. I have 14.200. And then next, I need to look at which one is going to be your next largest number then. It's going to be this one because that one is also a 0. So I'm going to write down 14.204. And then we're going to compare these two. Is 4 bigger or is 1 bigger? 4 is bigger, so that's going to be the last one. So the next number is going to be 14.210, and our very last number is 14.240. Okay, so those are the answers you have. I forgot to cross it off, but it helps you to see which one is next. Now, I'm going to turn the page, and the next page is page 33. And page 33, they ask you to write it in decreasing order. That means that you are going from greatest to least, right? So you're going with the biggest number and then the smallest number. So I'm going to plug these numbers in. I have 8.508. Then I have 8.58. Then I have 7.5. My last one is 7. Let's see if I can do this right. Let me plug this in correctly. Okay, so we have 7.5, and the last one is 7.058. Okay? So the first thing I notice is that they want me to go from greatest. And 8 is bigger than 7, right? So I'm going to look at these 8s right now. After the 8s, I have my 5s. So I'm going to make sure I circle my 5s. They're the same, so I can't tell which one's bigger. Now, 8 is bigger than 0, so that is the first number. 8.58 is the largest number. And then next is obviously going to be 8.508. 8.508. Now I have 2 more. Now that I did those, I have 2 more that I need to see. 7 is the same, but 5 and 0. 5 is larger, so I'm going to put that one first. 7.5, and my last one is 7.058. Okay, so that is for A, and now I'm going to move on to problem B. For problem B, I'm going to plug in my numbers. I have 439.216. The other one, I have 439.126. The other one, I have 439.612. And the last one, I have 400. I just like the numbers all together so that you guys can see and easily compare. Let me make sure I do that. Okay. The last one I have here is 439.261. Okay, now I'm going to compare. All of these 4s are the same. All of these 3s are the same. All of these 9s are the same. Okay, that doesn't really help me. But if you look here, you notice that there is a bigger number. 6 is a larger number than all of them. So that one is going to go first. So now I can just cross it off, right? So I have 439.612, comma. Now I need to think which one's next largest. We have 2 and 2. 2 is obviously going to be larger. So now I'm just going to look at these two. I have 1 and 6. 6 is larger. So this is the next number that is the largest. We have 439.261. Okay. Now the 2, like I said, is after that one is going to be the next largest, 439.216. And finally, we have 439.126. Okay. Now, for problem 4, it says James measured his hand. It was 0.17 meters, so that's what he did here. Jennifer measured her hand. It was 0.165 meters. Whose hand is bigger? How do you know? So we are going to look at these two numbers, 0.17 and 0.165. If you look at these two numbers right here, we have 1 and we have 1, which is the same. And then right next to the 1, we have a 7 and a 6. Which number is greater? 7 is greater. So James has a larger hand, okay? So I'm going to write James' hand is bigger because of the place value chart. And it's being plugged in right here. You can kind of see we have our 1, we have our 7 and 6. And like I said, 7 is larger, and that's James. Now, we're going to move on to problem number 5. It says right here, in a paper airplane contest, Marcel's plane traveled 3.345 meters. Salvador's plane travels 3.35 meters. Jennifer's plane travels 3.3 meters. Based on the measurements, whose plane traveled the farthest distance? Whose plane traveled the shortest distance? Explain your reasoning using place value chart. Okay, so looking at these numbers here, 3, 3, 3, they're all the same. 3, 3, 3, they are the same. And then we have 4 and 5. We know that 4 is smaller than 5. So 4, Marcel is going to be the smallest. Marcel traveled the shortest. Okay. And the person who traveled the most, these are supposed to be zeros, right? Oh, I just realized something. I forgot my zeros. So actually, Jennifer traveled the shortest. She didn't have any numbers after that. So the person who traveled the most, 5 is larger than 4, that's Salvador. So Salvador traveled the furthest because 3.35 is the largest, okay? Jennifer traveled the shortest. Oh, almost heard our period. And that is all for your lesson today.